Good evening, everyone. Item 1, apologies for absence, and I presume we're all present, therefore no apology.
Yes, I've got two here. Just give me a moment. Here we are. Councillor Williams and Rob Job Herb.
John Hurst, right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, that's noted. Item 2, declaration of interests. Members to declare any interest under the following categories: disclosable interest, outside bodies interest, family and friends or close associate interest. I have no declaration. Does anyone else have anything to declare?
No.
So I think that's a no. Item 3, public participation. I don't know if we've got any members of the public attending tonight, have we?
Charles is here.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Anyone wish to... Right, thank you. So item 4 is minutes, to accept the minutes of the meetings Wednesday, 27th of May. Has everyone read the minutes? Everyone happy with them? I'm happy with them, but just one query. In public participation, it's mentioned garden waste green bins, and apparently Councillor Williams said there would be an announcement given the day after the meeting by Cheshire West on green bins. Does anyone know what that actually was?
It is in the minutes.
No, that's in the minutes. What I was going to ask is, does anyone know what the result of that was the following day?
Yes, because at the time of the meeting, the green bin service was suspended. A day or so after, Cheshire West announced that it would come back, and it's now back in operation.
Right, that's all that was. Right, okay. Is this out of protocol to do an addendum to say subsequently they announced that green bins are coming back, or is that something that should be dealt with under the minutes for this meeting, or not at all?
I would suggest you put it in the minutes for this meeting to say that the bin service came back.
Would you be able to do that, Richard, please?
Yep, no problem.
Thank you. Anyone else got any items to raise out of the minutes? Otherwise, I think previously everyone's sort of said they accept, so I can confirm that's accepted. Richard? Item 5 is planning, to note the circulated planning register and consider applications. Anything?
Yeah. The only small change on that front is that since the last meeting, the application for a tractor shed and associated hard standing at Glen Rosa on Back Lane has been approved. So that's that will be going ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you, Brian. If you think back, we've had a relatively quiet few years on planning, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Were sort of 5 to 10 years ago when it seemed to be a far more frequent item on the agenda each month, each bi-monthly meeting. Anyway, it is what it is.
Chairman, I'm sorry to interrupt. Councillor Young is on her way into the meeting.
Brian, thank you.
Hello?
Hi Betty, can you hear us?
Yes, of course.
Right, I'll hand back to the chairman.
Good evening, Betty.
Thanks. Good evening. Sorry about that. Too many numbers.
You've not missed any, although we're down already we've raced on to item 6. All 5 items have been straightforward acceptance.
Yeah, I read it all, Marge, and nothing important.
Okay, good. So item 6
Thanks
is
very much. Item 7 now.
I know item 6. We're on accounts now.
Oh, it's still on 6. Okay.
Coming to 6 to
Got it.
accept the book to date. Richard. Richard, the cash book, do we?
Yeah, it's fine. There's nothing to pay.
Okay, fine. And you received those things back in the mail from myself and
Yes,
Steve?
thank you. Yes, yes.
And any payments to approve?
No,
Or are they
there
the
are
ones that
no.
dealt with
No,
in?
thank you.
Okay, so that's.
Did you manage to get a new signature?
Yes, it's on. Hopefully it's been done, but not
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
Good. So item 7 is general power of competence. That the council adopts the parish council's general power of competence. And Richard, is this specifically relating to website activity?
No. This is nothing to
Like,
do with the website.
sorry, I misread that. Okay, that's lower down. Okay, so what's the general power of competence, Richard?
We're all saying out though.
Do you want me to say?
Sorry,
Yes,
yes, please. Sorry.
Right, the general power of competence is a power a qualified parish council can adopt, and a qualified parish council has to have a percentage of elected members, a qualified clerk, things like that. And it gives you the ability, it basically gives you the legal authority to take all actions other than those that are illegal. Now, what you'll probably see on your cash book currently is every time you spend money, it'll be connected to a statutory power. I hope that's how your cash book looks. If you adopt the general power of competence, you don't have to use the different statutory powers, you just use this power. So it's an administrative tool which helps the clerk in terms of the audit and things like that, but also gives the council more freedom to spend money on things that otherwise you may not be able to, because a normal parish council under normal rules does have some limitations on what they can spend money on. It doesn't change the way you spend the money in terms of it having to come to the council for approval, but it gives you more freedom if you want to do a slightly more unusual project. But it really is basically an administrative tool, and your council will qualify.
Extra power to, Anne?
Sorry?
Who does it give extra powers to? Any individual or?
No, the parish council as a whole.
Oh, okay, yes.
And in context of Threapwood Parish Council, how might that benefit us, Anne, do you think?
In simplistic terms, it will make life easier for your clerk, because he doesn't have to find a statutory power every time you spend money. But in the future, because the power lasts until the next ordinary election, in the future, if you did a project that was quite unusual, that you don't normally have the statutory power to do, you would use this power.
Okay, so to consider going into the power of competence, is it an involved, lengthy process, or is it a straightforward issue to adopt?
You pass a resolution tonight to confirm that your council qualifies, which it does, and that you adopt the power, and that is it.
Okay.
How come we haven't done it before, Anne? Is it new?
I think it was introduced around 2011 with the Localism Act. We had to, the clerks that have got a qualification had to update their qualifications. I'm not sure if you had it in place before the last election or not.
I can't ever remember it before, no.
I think we have, no, I don't think so.
My view is if it makes Richard's life easier, we should do it.
And if it's a straightforward resolution, I would think similarly. Anyone else, any comments?
Yes, I think one thing it does give us is the power to pay an individual, which we can't do without it.
Yeah. If you ever wanted to do that.
If we ever wanted to do it.
Chris, sorry? Do you mean if we appointed, in what context? Do you mean if we needed to appoint someone to do some contract works or something? Or
for example, if a resident has paid for something that subsequently the parish council wants to reimburse them for, we couldn't do that to an individual, but you can now.
So we have done in the past.
Yeah, well.
Well, it's also in the past been something that has tied our hands. So in certain issues. So I think even if it permits us to do that, that's probably on its own is a reason to pass it. Yeah. Any other comments? Anyone? Helen, happy? Sorry, you're on mute, Helen.
So do we need a resolution?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So am I still on?
Oh, you're on, Helen. Sorry, Karen.
Okay, good, yeah. No, fine.
All happy, good, right. So do I need to propose a resolution?
Please.
In which case I propose a resolution.
I second it.
Thank you very much, Steve. All in favour?
Yes.
Sufficient number of thumbs, I think, to say yes. Okay, that's carried. So just to finish on that, where do we go from here, Anne? Is that it, or is
it simply is just a matter of minuting it?
Yes.
And from now on, every penny you spend will probably, well, we'll go through that power. And should you get to start a different projects or something new, you're covered and ready.
Okay.
So Richard's going to book a holiday in Barbados tomorrow, apparently.
Yes.
Hopefully not without us in attendance as well. Okay. All right. Fine. Thank you. So item 8 now is risk assessment. The annual risk assessment for 2020, and I briefly read through the papers attachments. Any observation arising out of those? Anything been omitted to anyone's eye? I don't think so. I think it's all very comprehensive and well covered.
Yeah.
Yes, Chris, hello. You're on mute, Chris. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, keep forgetting. There was one not misspelt word, use of the wrong word on the banking that I pointed out to Richard earlier. It says check into when it's referring to looking at something, and it should say check as in bank account.
Oh, inadequate checks.
Yeah, the last column.
Not checking it was okay, but inadequate writing.
Oh, no. It's a grammatical error, I think I'm saying.
Yeah, it does give a slightly,
Chris,
albeit subtle, but a slightly different meaning.
Can you tell me where it is on the risk assessment?
On the left column, Anne.
Is it maximum 1k bank transfer?
Where it says banking, on the second page, under finance,
yeah.
Second page, banking, inadequate checks. It's CKS, whereas it should be checks as in written checks.
No, it isn't.
Inadequate
checks as in inadequate checks and balances.
Oh, so it is right. Okay.
As in.
Is that the one you meant, Chris?
Or did you mean the above 1k required check payment?
Oh dear.
Chris, you're muted.
I shall leave it on. It's the last column.
It's still muted.
No, it's not.
Chris,
sorry.
Is it about the 1k, if it's above 1k?
1k.
It isn't the wrong check. What the risk assessment says, if you're paying more than £1,000 to a new person on the account, you have to do a sort of check, as in a check payment, as in you pay £1, check they've received it, and then you'd pay the remaining £999.
That's not terribly clear then, because I read.
That's yeah. So you might need to look at the wording for that.
So sorry, Anne. It says on the bottom paragraph. It says above £1,000 require check payment. That is spelt with a CK.
Yeah, that's the right check.
Are you saying it should be check as in a written check?
No. The risk assessment is written that if you're paying £1,000 or more to someone new, you would do a bank transfer test payment, and then you would do the rest. So it's a test payment rather than a check payment.
So it's the check shouldn't be there at all.
It should be test payment.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, test. That's the word, isn't it? Test.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a far better solution.
Test payment. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are you? Is Is that, do you follow that, Richard?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, good. Thanks. If you could make a note in the minutes, that's amended. Well, just amended on the thing. So, any other observations on the risk assessment at all? So, do we have to propose that as well?
Yes, well, please.
Can I propose that?
Second.
Who second? Thank you.
Steve.
Thank you.
In second. Thank you. That's item 8. So item 9 is the one I missed up earlier, Threapwood Parish Council website. I think Richard will explain in detail, but I think the basic issue, the papers that were sent suggested that there's a certain requirement for Parish Council websites, which, to use my terminology, requires an interactive element. So outsiders viewing the website can participate and contribute into it. At the moment, it's just a solid sheet of you read what it states. It's like a poster board. It doesn't have the capacity or facility to encourage input from other participants. So I think, Richard, you want to sort of expand on that, but that's the gist of what this is about.
Can I ask Chris to do that, please?
Yeah, okay. There is that aspect, Miles, but in essence, it's about other people getting into and understanding what's on the website. It's about individuals with impaired vision that might not be able to see some of the size of the font. Somebody with motor difficulties that struggle to find the right tab, if you like, to download stuff. Somebody with cognitive impairments or learning disabilities, and perhaps even more common, deafness or impaired hearing. And I don't know whether anybody's been on some of these Facebook things recently, but now when you look at a video on there, you'll find not only is the sound coming over, but there are actually words written to explain what's happening in the video. And this is about that accessibility needing to be on Parish Council and other bodies' websites now, public websites.
And is this a statutory requirement, Chris,
yes,
or a guidance? Sorry, it's a statutory thing, is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we've got no alternative that we have to address this. So sorry, am I interrupting you, Chris? Carry on. Sorry.
I think we've got till September to do this, if I'm not mistaken, if I recall.
So we need to get motoring if something needs doing.
Yes.
Any observations from anywhere?
Well,
it's quite an involved thing we're doing at the moment for a public inquiry, so it's not straightforward.
I'm certainly not got the ability to do this. The other aspect here, the Threapwood Parish Council functions on something called WordPress, which is quite a dated application, quite a dated system. And if you look at other websites now, you certainly ours looks quite dated. So I would suggest it's best left to some individual that's doing this on a regular basis, and we get professional help in to sort it for us. And it also gives the opportunity to for us to look at the website and say, well, what else did we want to see on it?
Yes. I think the first thing would be to find an appropriate website provider, I would suspect, in the first instance, and then once that selection is made, then we should look at the inputting of data thereafter. I mean, I think if the deadline's September, it's probably about setting it up to comply to start with, and then the adapting of it. I mean, I think we're going to be hard pressed to get everything up and running by September, knowing from my own experience how long these things take.
Is this all to do with GDPR?
No, it's a separate legislation.
Right.
Although GDPR is involved in websites, particularly if people are coming in with requests. There's confidentiality we should have around sharing their contact details and issues with other people. One of the things I looked at earlier was Tilston, and Tilston Parish Council, and they've had one recently done, and there's a striking difference between the way Threapwood looks and functions and Tilston, and it might be worth you having a look at that as an example. That's been done by a local individual.
Have to pay someone to do this for us.
Sorry, Louise.
Sorry, Louise.
Pay someone to do this for us.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we need to find someone who is prepared to do it to start with.
Yes, that is the answer.
Not that I don't know anybody.
We really ought to be getting at least 2 quotes, shouldn't we,
Yeah.
to do it? And then, but my concern is that if this has got to be completed by September, we won't be meeting before the deadline. And
Chairman,
yes,
I think there is you are supposed to have it in place by September, but I think if anyone did challenge the fact it wasn't there, and you're minuted that you're doing something and you're aiming towards getting it done, that would go a long way. Right. I can't imagine the government's going, well, I would like to think the government wouldn't come down on a small Cheshire Parish Council when there's so many other big boys to chase after first.
Yeah.
But I think if it's minuted that you're moving towards it and you know there's an issue, I think that really gives you a good step in the right direction.
okay.
Right, that's defence there, Miles. You might need that later on.
Pardon, sorry?
Write that down as your defence. You might need it later on.
Nobody knows
Go
anybody.
down the list, I expect. Can I suggest then that for September's meeting, we obtain ideally 3 quotes, but there's the company, we need to find out the company who did the Tilston one. I know a website designer because I'm slowly chugging towards getting a website myself. They're not local, but they could no doubt provide a quote, unless anyone else has got more local people as an alternative, and a third one as well. And if we can obtain those quotes in time for the next meeting, and also if we can all have a good look at the Tilston website to get some proper ideas about what functionality it has, what we need to be thinking about, and then we can have a proper discussion about it at the next meeting with a view to moving it forward at that point. Does that sound a sensible plan of action?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris, I might have again chopped you off. Did you have any further points to add on that?
Well, I can tell you who's done the Tilston one. I think that's Steve Farmer of I7, lives in Tilston.
Right.
The other element is I've been managing the Mulpus website, and that's done through a company called Zen Media. Now, last year I spoke to them about upgrading that site to get that sorted. Now, nothing's happened. I think he was knocked back by the COVID stuff. But that's one thing I shall be chasing up now, and I could ask him for a quote if he's interested in doing
Well, I
something
think,
for us.
personally, I think that sounds very sensible if you can, yes. And if I can try and get hold of the people I've got, they're out of the area, so I don't expect, somehow I don't think they'll be competitive, but at least it's a third quote, and at least we're demonstrating that, you know, if the one we feel is the best one for us, it's either in line or it isn't in line with the market.
Chairman,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt. What you may want to ask for when you quote is for them to also include undertaking an accessibility audit of the website.
Yes.
I've had the new website built at Tilston. I've sat down to try and do the accessibility audit and found it's way beyond me. And I'm struggling with it. And you have to do the audit because you have to produce an accessibility statement, which identifies the things that are accessible and the things that aren't, what you can change, what you can't. So it might be worth including that portion in your quote.
I think that's very sensible. The only problem I have there is that if you struggle to get by, I can guarantee I have absolutely no hope of understanding anything to do with it. So anything that can be given to me in writing to approach, or any of us, whoever's going to the various parties for the quote, so we've got a consistent thing to ask for in the quote, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
Have you got a template, Anne?
No, because I've only just discovered this.
Oh, right, I see. So you haven't got anything, no pointers as to what it means?
No, just panic.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, I think that sounds like a sensible plan, and perhaps Richard, if with the minutes you can forward those various bits of details, we can be getting on with that, and hopefully we can have some 3 quotes in time for the next meeting. And then if we can all have a look at the Tilston website, and there may well be other parish councils locally as well, then we can have a proper discussion debate about it at the next meeting.
Thank you
very much. So that's item 9. So the final item already is item 10, highways updated. Sorry, I'm not too sure what that is.
I have nothing to add.
Any observations from anyone?
No. Not from me.
The repair to the Sarn Road Bridge seems to be holding up, and that seems to have overcome the problem there. And I think there are still problems going on Wrexham Road from me towards Malpas with an irregular road surface, shall we say, but I don't know. I think that's outside the parish, isn't it? So I don't know. Yeah, Chris.
I spoke to Rachel Williams earlier today, and she's very aware of that issue, and she was going to chase it up this evening.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so if we could perhaps, if we hear about that in time for the minutes, maybe that can go into the minutes as an update. Otherwise, we'll discuss it at the meeting. That, gentlemen, ladies, is it.
Can I just ask something, please? I don't know, this is before my time in Threapwood, so I don't know whether it's to do with the parish council or somebody else. But if you're going down Sarn Road, Sarn Bank Road, and then you turn right to go down to where the door factory used to be, just on the corner there's a little plaque to commemorate the Queen's Jubilee. Is this anything to do with the parish council?
Are you talking about the turn to Middlewood Farm?
Yes.
And where's this plaque? Sorry.
It's just a little plaque about a foot off the ground on a piece of wood, and it's a little brass plaque to say that Mr. and Mrs. or Dr. and Mrs. Young. No. Well, anyway, the reason that I'm asking is that this plaque has come adrift from the little post, and Adrian and I have taken the little plaque back here safely, and Adrian is going to tidy it all up and screw it back in. And I just wondered if it was parish council that had done it, or obviously not, so somebody else.
Well, I'm not aware of it, but then it might predate my involvement, Louise. Does anyone else?
No.
No,
I missed the beginning of that. What was it to commemorate, Maz? The Queen's what?
hang on, I'll just go and get the little plaque and I'll read it.
Oh, sorry.
I think Louise thinks we're on the community group meeting.
It's obviously a tree planted by Dr. and Mrs. Norton on the occasion
Oh, yeah.
of the Jubilee of the Queen on the 6th of February 1977.
Right.
Bit before our time.
Well, anyway, Adrian's going to, this is the little plaque. Adrian's going to...
Norton was the chairman of
and
the
replace it.
council and she's the secretary, so I would imagine it must have been initiated by the parish council.
Well, whoever, anyway, just for your information, we'll sort it out.
Okay,
I
thank
never
you.
even knew it was there, did you, Mav?
I have to confess I wasn't aware of its existence.
Well, you need to
No.
walk your dog down there, you see, and when it stops for an interesting smell, you notice that it's a bit damaged.
Fair enough. That's
Oh, well, it'd be better reinstated anyway.
Yes, we'll reinstate it.
Thank you.
good.
That's very community spirited of you, Louise.
It is.
And,
I'm a very community spirited sort of person.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you very much, everyone.
But
Thank you.
next time, will we be in our kitchen still, or will we be in the Chawton Hall?
I think we need to monitor things as they go the next month, don't we? As long as,
My
long
view, Charles, all right, is that we could quite easily sort of socially distance. As the hall is big enough to do that.
yes, but what I was basically about to say is as long as there's no spike in August, early September, I think if Richard and I can discuss it in September, and then we can give reasonable notice to everyone which way we're going.
Yeah.
Do is a risk assessment. No, honestly, you will have to do a risk assessment.
I'm
I'd be very pleased if you'd like to do that, Steve. Thank you.
I'm currently undertaking the risk assessments for my councils to meet. I don't believe we'll meet face to face this side of Christmas
No.
Why?
because of the controls we need to put in place, the age of some of our councillors, and also where they meet, we'd have to have copies of their risk assessments and what actions they're undertaking. And I'm not sure that some of the halls, some of my councils meeting, not mentioning names, and I don't mean Tilston, will have a risk assessment in place.
That's
I mean,
my
you need to-
understanding. These halls will have to do their own management plan to deal with things, and it'll be down to them whether they decide to open.
So it's not just as straightforward as that then. So I think, yeah, I think that...
We're capable of making this decision, surely, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so, Betty.
Yeah.
Mark, do a risk assessment.
You'll do the risk assessment, Steve, did you say?
No, you're the chairman.
No, I mean, our hall will be out
Very
Do
good.
earlier.
a risk assessment.
Beautiful, Stephen, thank you. That's my wife phoning to say don't commit to anything. Okay, anyone else have anything to add? Okay, so meeting closed. I haven't got a timepiece on me. Oh yes, 8:09.
That's a record.